Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Zo Talks. This is a show all about mental health. We focus on adolescents, the education industry, and the mental health industry. This is also the show where we want to discuss all things difficult. What are some of the burning questions on your mind that you want to talk about?
I'm Christina. I'm from Zoala. We're a generative AI tech startup company.
And I'm Joanna. I'm from wwyd, a youth counselling center.
And for today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Rahul, or just Rahul, who is actually our Zoala's CPO, Chief Product Officer. So he's the mastermind behind a lot of the products that go into Zoala. He does a lot of the planning with Wilson, who's part of the product team. He talks a lot with our the different stakeholders, like with the schools, with the parents, with the students, the youth themselves that actually would use the app. Thank you, Rahul, for joining us today. Now, for some of you guys, you might remember in a previous episode, we brought in Jeff, who's the CEO of Zoala. So we thought this time around, let's bring in Rahul and we can talk a little bit more about product and the product.
Yeah, because I remember last episode, we talked a little bit more about digital overuse, and we were discussing some of the things like common concerns, especially from parents, about privacy. And, with so many people already on their devices, isn't, as many benefits as Zoala can provide, isn't it just another app on the device that's going to keep their eyes glued to the screen? So we talked a little bit about that. And then we were thinking, why it would be a great idea to just bring in CPO to talk about, some of these features and how you guys tackle some of these common concerns.
So to kick us off now, because Jeff shared a little bit about the origins of Zoala and how we began. So he actually mentioned you and Shamili and NUS and you guys at school together. Now, from your point of view, what are some of the motivations behind, or what motivates you behind Zoala?
First, thank you for inviting me as well. It's the first time I'm doing a podcast.
Oh,
you might see in my body language. How does it come up?
Okay.
All right. So my inspiration, motivation is the same. It's the same as Jeff and Shamili. We share the same purpose. It was a spark in the college when we did the project. We found that something has to be done. The purpose behind this wanted us to come out of our corporate lives and want to do something different. And this project was very much meaningful for us when we did it. We saw that the classmates, the professors encouraged us so much that we saw that there is a value to this, there is a meaning to this, and this could be something we were searching for. So that made us pivot from our careers to start something which is Zoala.
Nice.
Okay. That's our, we share the same purpose. So in order to go back to the purpose, we want to address this challenge, which is a mental health challenge in our adolescents. It is not a small problem to address. It is a big thing to address. It's in this current generation, it is coming up a lot. It doesn't mean that it was not there before. It was, but now we have media and other channels to bring it up. So it's coming up in the front. So how do we address that? So that's what my point of view on that. But we'll talk more about it.
Yeah. So I know about some of the features, and I think they definitely will help with some of the pain points of counselors and educators. Could you share with some of our audience members who are not very familiar with Zoala, what are some of the defining or distinct features that Zoala has?
Yeah, I think before we get into the features, probably give a high-level overview of what are the pain points we try to address.
Okay.
I think Jeff and Shamli would have talked about this, but from when we did this project, again, going back to the project, when we did this, we found certain gaps, right? First thing was the stigma. How do we overcome this stigma? How do we get people to talk about this, come and talk about, I need help, or I'm okay to talk about it, so that others are encouraged to come up to the stage and talk about this. So awareness, education is one piece. So that's what we provide in the app. And that's done by different mechanisms like positive psychology behind it, certain frameworks like PERMAVI and that kind of frameworks we use to develop this curriculum or education. So that's one thing. So we strongly believe that stigma and awareness can be addressed through education. Point number one. The point number two is the next gap, which is how do we provide a 24/7 kind of buddy for the students? Not only for students, it can be to anyone, but starting from students. right? How do we provide a buddy who can be a listening ear, who can continuously listen, who can provide some advice and suggestions without being a bias, without being judged, and providing a safe space. So that is where our technology comes in, where AI matters. So AI can talk like a human being. AI can act like a human being with a little bit of counseling, psychology, and science behind it. That helps because it helps the person to open up. It's not just a conversation. We want the person to open up and talk about their challenges so that you feel calmer. You feel better at it because you are talking about it. Somebody is listening to it. So that's what AI does. Point number 2. Now, point number 3, in this whole process, who can actually help them to take it to the next level? So AI did that part, which is helping them to open up and talk about the challenges. So now we understand that person, but that doesn't stop there. We have to take it to the next level where somebody provides them a help, which is actually schools. So today schools are equipped to provide that kind of care where teachers and counselors are being educated. So we take a proactive approach where we tell the schools, hey, there are 5 students who have a problem. Can we look into that in a proactive way? Normally they would wait for the students to come to them in a reactive way, and most of the time it might not happen because I have to walk in front of my friends to come to a counseling room. That itself is a stigma. The students might start to discriminate. So here we are giving the schools an option to understand the challenges proactively and reach out to them in private, which creates a little bit more trusted environment for the students to open up. So these are the main 3 things which we do from an app perspective. From a company perspective, there is a 4th dimension to it, which is actually how do we help people to save cost, right? Reduced cost. We all know that when human services are involved, the cost is slightly higher. So technology can help to reduce the cost. It can help to reach the mass. That means we know that when it's counseling or psychology, the cost per hour charges are higher, which means that somebody at the lower income side of the pyramid might not be able to access it. So we want to provide that access and accessibility to care using our technology. So that's from our company's standpoint. So product helps to achieve that 4th dimension.
Yeah, okay, cool. So now back to the original question. No, but that was good to then for our viewers to understand a little bit more from the higher level. Now, if we go into the actual features that schools will use, that students will use to help address these pain points. Yeah, since you're here, can you talk a little bit more about the different features?
Sure. Okay. Let's talk about AI then. So we mentioned about AI being a buddy. So what does it mean by a buddy? How do you define it?
Like
A friend.
companion.
Like a friend, a companion, right? So, but there is something more we want to do. A companion and buddy would be having a casual chat. Like if I say I'm sad, what would be your response?
Be like,
Hi, what's up?
yeah.
Right, WhatsApp, right? So, but now as a friend, probably you want to understand a little bit. But here in AI, we want to open up that person and also at the same time think that you have the capability to overcome that. That means I'm helping that person to come up with an answer within, which also shows that I have the capability to overcome these challenges. That makes the person strong, which also means that the person is not dependent upon us all the time. So we guide them through that process where they move towards the wellness side of things all the time. And we build capability with the help of AI, even though it's a conversation, right?
Okay, so for example, if I go to Christina or I go to the AI chat and I say, I'm feeling upset, the AI will attend to, validate my feelings and everything, but it will start to shift the conversation towards better mental wellness.
Right.
Right.
As an example, good question. As an example, let's say somebody says that I have been bullied in childhood.
Right.
Right. It keeps on going. That. So my question in the sense AI can shift the conversation and talk about what are the other pleasant memories you have in your childhood.
Mm.
So that we try to create a balance.
Mm-hmm.
That helps that person going thinking that it's not just negative things has been
Right.
happening in my life. That's a way of conversation.
Right. And I
Yeah.
could see that being different from a friend. A friend's like, oh, like that's fine. Like, cheer up. Let's distract ourselves. We go out for a movie. Right. But that thinking is still like, yeah, my childhood was still bad. I get it.
That's
yeah.
a strong point.
Mm.
But being AI, you can talk anything,
Yeah.
right? You can ask about dilemmas. You have a confusion. You want suggestions and options to get from AI. Say, for example, I don't know what exactly this topic means. I heard it somewhere, but I want to know more. I can ask.
Mm.
Tell me in a story format. It will give you.
Nice.
Right. So it is not just about collecting information all the time from the user. Unlike other apps, we want to give back.
Mm-hmm.
That is an engagement process,
Mm-hmm.
because that would want the user to come back, because it is also helping them to move forward.
Mm. Nice. So that sounds like a very cool
Mhm.
feature, the AI chat. And it doesn't sound like it's like a robot that has predetermined responses,
Mm.
right? It sounds like it adapts and it gets to know the user. Would you say it's your favorite feature? Because I actually went on
Mm.
Zoala and there's actually a lot. But for me, I think that the AI chat is probably the coolest. I'm just
Mm.
wondering, as a CPO, the mind behind all these
Yeah.
features, like which one actually do you like?
I can't say something favorite,
Mm.
but it's been designed in such a way that many people would have different preferences. So that's why we have different features and functions as well.
Mhm.
End of the day, it's all about well-being. So whatever you use, the idea is that push that towards wellness. So that's why we have multiple features, right?
Mhm.
If AI could achieve that, that's what wonderful. But it's not just one way of doing it,
Right.
multiple ways of doing it. It could be building positive habits, which becomes your culture, becomes your character, etc. So that's what I used to start doing. Journals. We have journals in the app.
Mhm.
So you might have used that. So I used that almost 30 days continuously
Wow.
Right. To see whether it works. I never have been writing journals in my life. I
Mhm.
always wanted to. Even in my college or in my student life, I have been asked to write, which brings clarity and thought into you, but I never wrote. So
That's
I
good.
thought,
You're now practicing what
yeah.
you're preaching.
So I thought, shouldn't we try this ourselves? So to see whether it's really impactful. So one point I reached a stage where I felt that I am very, very clear. I'm becoming clear.
Mm.
Probably my English also got better. I think. And the interesting part is some of the things which I don't know, I can go back and ask AI.
Mm.
What am I writing? Am I writing right? Can I express like this? AI also will help me to nudge me in the right direction, so I can come back to the journal and can start writing. So actually, I felt it was useful. Journals have been made me expressive, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that was useful for me. Yeah.
Mm. And I like how in the app as well, one side is about the journals, and then the other's another tab where you can see all the other journals, as well as in that moment how I was feeling. So when I scroll through that really helps give me perspective on how my month has gone.
Mm.
Whether
Because it's tracking.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see, okay, I was upset. Oh, I was happy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite insightful to being able to record that day-to-day snapshot.
Yeah, there are many other things which we can actually touch upon, like it could be our learning space, it could be smart goals, daily reflections. We have newly introduced daily reflections that, again, it's not like a journal, but a quick way of writing things. It could be like, what is your name? What do you feel about your name?
Oh.
How was your day, and how was your friend? How was your day with your friends? Can you write me a poem about that? 4 lines.
Wow.
So it's
Well, that's very
so
interesting.
we felt that it's actually engages, but in a very positive way.
Yeah.
It's not just about watching videos, but expressing yourself. Communication has become so important for us in this world.
Mhm.
So how do you express? I think this helps. So that's another way to look at it.
Nice.
And but we have gamification behind it, extrinsic and intrinsic motivations behind it. Yeah, so many things we have done it. Yeah, I think we all should try it out. Yeah.
Nice. And so at the beginning, we mentioned that you deal with a lot of different stakeholders, and I know a lot of what you do is to understand the different people that would utilize the app, or the different people surrounding the users of the app. For example, the parents, the educators, the counselors, and in the core of this would be the students. So from your focus groups and from your interviews, what are some things that you've found through this? Like, have you some of the pain points that you have identified with the students, what they liked about the app or what they didn't like, or just some of the challenges that were surfaced?
Yeah, I think we have multiple stakeholders here. Even though we started with 2, it's growing. So that doesn't mean that we are moving away from students, right? Students are always at the core. Adolescents are always at the core. The children are always at the core, and then stakeholders surrounding them. It can be parents, the teachers, the counselors, the healthcare professionals, and so on and so forth, right? So that's how we want to grow as a company, helping these people to create a better environment for the student. It might be that students are not the problem. It's just the environment is the problem. So addressing that helps in a way indirectly as well. So we started off with schools, providing information to them. That's what we talked in the beginning, right? How do they get the data so that they can act on specific targeted problems? They can be proactive. How do they get alerts if something is happening, something distress is happening? That's one side of the thing. So when we started off, we talked to a lot of students. We bring them into the office. Otherwise, we go to their homes and talk about what are the different challenges, etc. Right? So some of the things which strike me was that they are comfortable using AI. They are comfortable using chat because they have, maybe that generation is born using WhatsApp and they are comfortable with it. So typing is not a problem. So felt good with that because that's the way we communicate today. Maybe it's a different way tomorrow, but today. Okay, perfect. But challenges like, are you okay to share your information with your teachers? Probably not. Half of them were not. So the question was, why are you not sharing? Why are you not willing to share? The answer is, I don't have that trust. I want to keep it to myself. I don't feel comfortable sharing my personal information. So then the question is, how do you take care of yourselves when you are in danger? Is it okay for us to share your information with your teachers because we want to help you? That works. So if you are coming from an angle where I want to help you, then okay.
And so that was when most of the students then shifted to yes, I'll be okay to share my information then.
Then right, yes. Then they were okay. Yes, I'm not equipped to handle things myself.
Right.
If somebody is willing to help me, I'm fine. From that standpoint, it was all okay. So I think that when the people start to use it, when they start to see benefits out of it, when others starts talking about it, more and more people will join.
Nice. So that was all from the focus groups, and that sounds amazing. How about, have you ever received any feedback from educators in real time who have tried the app? What was some of the feedback from them? Did they, find, all the benefits that you guys are trying to push out?
Oh yes, definitely. The fun part to it is that they were asking for themselves.
They were, yes, for their own use, not just the students. Yeah. Wow.
So I said, yeah, that's an interesting viewpoint, but we are not ready there. But yes, if there is a demand to it, we can do it. But that's what I said, right? That's one of our stakeholders to help them as well, because they could be burned out and they could be overwhelmed to address some of the scenarios. So yes, they said that, yes, your chat is wonderful. It is actually helping. The insights is great. I can understand depression, anxiety, stress early in the cycle so that I can help them better. And it also helps me because I can run specific programs in the school. It's not like I'm not using my budget for widely. Now I am actually having an outcome. So I'm going to use that. And it's also data driven. Data driven means it's based on facts. That is so important for them. They are not blind. That means that helps.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice to hear, because I always, hear parents or educators are a bit skeptical when we introduce new things, and we're saying, like, these are the things that works. Why don't you try it out? And then, sometimes that's why I was curious about, when they did try it out, what was the feedback? What was how were they receptive? And it's great to hear that they loved it.
It's not that they don't have concerns. They do have,
Mhm.
right? Data protection is always a concern,
Yeah.
right? It's personal. Once again, this is little bit more sensitive compared to an e-commerce website, is because it's a little bit more personal. So how are you handling it? Will you go and sell this to someone,
Yeah.
right? Will you use it for other purposes? So being ethical, being moral, we wouldn't want to do that. We would not be doing it. But how do we prove it? So that's a place where some of the frameworks helps. So in Singapore, we apply PDPA, or Personal Data Protection Act. We are bounded by that. So for the whole world, probably we will be looking at GDPR. So we are into that. So that way we can provide some amount of credibility and trust in what we do. But again, it can be always debated, right? So we always welcome people to talk to us.
Nice.
And it's all about now. It's not about the technology now. It's about who you are. If I trust you as a person, then I'm okay with the company as well, because it's all about the people around the company.
Right. I think we mentioned this in when we were talking about digital overuse. Tech has a lot of negative connotation, and oftentimes it's actually the person behind the tech, whether what they do with the tech itself. So a lot of people don't trust tech, but it's because maybe like data leaks, or their trust was breached, and that's why they don't trust technology. But it's really the face behind the tech.
The intention and the purpose behind doing this matters.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to talk to people, so that we can provide that comfort. And we want this to be out there in the world. We want to be very honest about what we do. And I can always say that ethically and morally, we are binded to this, saying that yes, we will be doing everything possible to protect and keep your privacy.
Great.
Nice. To wrap this up, Rahul, what would you envision, in 1 year's time, where would you want to see the product?
Yeah, especially in a startup, it's good to have a vision, right? Always, right? A 3-year vision, 5 years vision, good. But in a startup, when we are in a very early phases, it's always difficult. We
It's
are
always changing.
Always constantly validating what we are seeing in around us, right?
Yeah.
So we constantly change as well. We constantly try to make things work so that it is acceptable for the customers. But at the same time, we do have a vision as a company. So as I said in the beginning, so we want to grow the stakeholders, because keeping students in the middle help each and everybody around them, so that the students get a safe environment. As an example, parents, if I ask you, if your child comes to come back to your home, come back from the exam, say for example, say I failed in the exam, what would be your response be?
It's okay. Better luck next time.
She's a nice parent.
Yeah. Think about Tiger, Singaporean moms, just like, why didn't you do it? Why is it 88? Why is it not 90,
Right.
90, 100?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So most of us would, even I would have the same conversation, right? It's out of my impulse. And also, it's not just because of that I would feel sad about it. I did not provide the right environment for my child to get good marks. So that defensive mechanism is acting on the child. So how do we turn that around and have a better conversation? So we need to equip the parents. So that would be the next. Equipping the healthcare system, the healthcare professionals, that would be the next.
Okay.
So that they can actually provide a better care and can see more
Right.
people
Right.
by bringing automation, by bringing data, by bringing all the elements of AI into the system. They become productive and efficient. We have shortage of people. How about helping them? How about helping other educators, not just schools? So we can grow this pie. So once we are into schools and students proven and well, I think that will organically happen. So that's a long-term vision behind this. Yeah.
Yes, mental wellness for all.
Yeah. we would say that mental wellness first for schools
Yes,
here right
yes.
now. Yeah. Slowly, maybe graduated to mental wellness first for all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay, well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. It was a great pleasure having this conversation with Rahul, the CPO of Zoala. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, please do feel free to reach out to us. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. Comment below, leave us a like, give us a share.
Yeah, I would like to come back again. This time. I would like to talk again more about
Yes.
what we are doing, and thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Rahul, for your time today. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you.